I've never told this story in full before. Not like this. People think they know fear, creaky floors, a noise outside, a bad dream you can't shake. But that's nothing compared to the kind of fear that sets in your bones. The kind that stays there, waiting for you even in daylight. This happened years ago, when I was in my early 20s. I wasn't living in some gothic mansion or spooky cabin in the woods, just a small, worn-out rental on the edge of a quiet New York town. A house that seemed completely normal at first glance. Beige siding, 2 stories, a crooked fence, and a backyard that ended in a tangle of trees. Ordinary, forgettable. Or so I thought. I'd moved in with my cousin Lisa because it was cheap and convenient. She was practically my sister. We'd grown up together, shared everything, and this felt like just another adventure. She worked nights at a diner. I had a 9 to 5 at a boring office, so most evenings I'd be home alone, microwaving leftovers, binge-watching old TV shows, waiting for her to pull up. It wasn't a scary life, not then, but the house had its quirks. Old houses do. The floors groaned when you walked. Doors swelled in the frame and didn't shut right, and the walls had this hollow echo when you knocked on them. At night, the wind pushed against the windows like it was trying to get in. I told myself it was just an old building doing what old buildings do. That Friday night, though, everything felt sharper. The TV hissed a little louder between channels. The shadows in the corners of the living room looked darker, thicker. I remember sitting on the couch, my legs curled up, a blanket over my shoulders, even though it wasn't cold. The hum of the refrigerator was the only steady sound. And yet, every so often, I thought I heard something else, like footsteps upstairs. Slow, dragging footsteps. I told myself it was nothing. Always nothing. A little before midnight, I heard the familiar crunch of tires in the driveway. Lisa was home. Relief washed over me. Stupid and automatic, like I'd been holding my breath without realizing. I didn't get up right away. She'd come in, we'd talk, everything would go back to normal, but instead of keys jangling in the lock, I heard the doorbell. I frowned. She never rang the bell. She had her key, always. The bell rang again, longer this time. A low, drawn-out tone that seemed to vibrate in the air. I turned the TV down and waited, half expecting her to laugh to call my name. Nothing. I stood and crept to the window, pushing the curtain aside just enough to peek. The porch light was off. Lisa always turned it off to save on the bill, but the moonlight was bright enough to see a figure standing there. It looked like her. Same build, same dark hair falling forward, but she wasn't moving. She was standing perfectly still, facing the door, like a mannequin. My heart thudded. My hand hovered on the knob. Then I heard her voice, soft, too soft. "Hey, it's me. Open up, only it didn't sound right." It was her voice, but flattened, like a recording played just a little too slow. I should have opened the door. I wanted to, but my stomach tightened like a fist, and I stayed where I was, staring at the wood grain of the door instead of the knob. Silence, then another ring, louder, a low hiss, like static. I opened the door finally, swinging it wide, but the porch was empty. The driveway was empty. No car, no footsteps in the frost. Just trees swaying at the edge of the yard, and the faint sound of wind, like someone breathing through their teeth. 10 minutes later, Lisa's actual car pulled into the driveway. She came inside smelling like coffee and fryer grease, tired but normal. When I asked if she'd been outside before, she blinked at me like I'd said something insane. "No, I just got here," she said. I didn't tell her the rest, not then. But from that night on, something in the house changed. Like and subscribe if you're still reading, because what happened next never left me. After that night, the house no longer felt like ours. It felt borrowed, like we were just staying there until whatever else lived there decided it wanted us gone. The changes started small. My keys would disappear from the counter and reappear on the bathroom sink. Lisa's hairbrush would be standing upright in the middle of the hallway, balanced in a way that shouldn't have been possible. I'd wake up at 3 in the morning and find the front door unlocked, even though I knew I'd bolted it. Lisa began to hear things too. Whispers in the kitchen when no one was there. Knocks from inside the walls. She told me one morning, pale and shaking, that she'd woken up to someone sitting at the foot of her bed, but when she sat up, the weight was gone. I tried to rationalize everything. Maybe we were both stressed. Maybe someone was breaking in and messing with us. But the locks were never broken, and nothing was ever stolen. One night, a week later, I woke up to the sound of the doorbell again. This time I didn't move right away. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, heart hammering. I heard Lisa's bedroom door creak open. Her footsteps padded down the hall. I whispered her name, but she didn't answer. The bell rang again. And again, I got up finally and went to the hallway just as she reached the front door. Her hand was on the knob. I remember the way she looked back at me, wide-eyed, dazed, like she wasn't fully awake. "Don't," I said, but my voice cracked. She opened the door anyway. I saw her standing there on the threshold, staring out into the darkness. I didn't see anyone outside, just blackness, thick and heavy, as if the night itself was pressing against the doorway. Then she stepped out. The door slammed shut on its own. By the time I reached it and pulled it open, she was gone. Not in the yard, not in the driveway. The trees were motionless, the air dead. No sound but my own breath. I searched the yard, the road, the woods. Nothing, no footprints. No car, no Lisa. People said she must have run off, that she was abducted, that she'd planned it. But I know what I saw. I know she answered the doorbell at midnight, and something took her. I've moved since then. New state, new job, new life. But sometimes, late at night, just as I'm drifting off, I hear it. The bell, that low, drawn-out tone. And when I get up to check, the porch is always empty. Like and subscribe if you're still here, because if I keep telling this, maybe someone out there will believe me, or maybe it will find me again.